music, can anyone guess and tell me what a fable is? Okay, so a fable is a story that teaches you a lesson. So before we do start the music, why don't we introduce the 5 instruments behind me? So can anyone tell me the name of the instrument in the back corner over there?
Piano.
Yeah, it's the piano. Yeah, it's the piano. So the piano has 88 keys and it can play both high and low notes. So why don't we hear a little melody from Hyunsu on the piano? Okay, thank you, Hyunsu. So moving on, can anyone tell me what this instrument over here is?
Violin.
It's not a violin, it's really similar.
A guitar.
No. So can anyone guess what this instrument is?
I think oboe.
Okay, so this is a cello and it makes a deep, rich sound. So why don't we hear that deep, rich sound from Jeon on the cello? Thank you, Jeon. Okay, moving on. I heard some of you guys say the name of this instrument over here. Can anyone tell me what this one is? Yeah, it's a violin. The violin and cello are both made of wood, have 4 strings, and are played with a bow. So why don't we hear a little melody from Helen? Thank you, Helen. So moving on to the instruments behind me, can anyone guess what this instrument is? Yeah, it's a flute, and the flute makes a high, light, silvery sound. So why don't we hear that from Anthony? Thank you, Anthony. And last but not least, we have one last instrument behind me, and it might be a little difficult to guess this one, but can anyone tell me what this instrument is? Any guesses? Uh-huh. Yeah, it's an oboe! Yeah, so why don't we hear the bright and clear notes of the oboe? Thank you, Evan. So now that we've become acquainted with all of these instruments, why don't we begin with the story of the fox and the crow? This is the story of the fox and the crow. One warm summer day on a country road, several birds were eating a large piece of cheese. They chirped away, making fun of a nearby crow. What a funny and clumsy voice you have, they said to the crow. It's so deep you don't even sound like a real bird, and your wings are so big. Voice and big wings, and didn't like their teasing. Suddenly, she swooped over to the smaller birds, stole their cheese, and flew off to enjoy it. Favorite tree, the crow flapped her wings a bit to brag that she'd stolen their cheese. Listen to how proudly she crowed. much that she caught the attention of a fox who had been walking up the road looking for breakfast. The fox was very hungry and he wanted that cheese. The fox circled around the tree, planning how to get the cheese from the crow. Finally, the fox spoke in his sweetest voice. Madam Crow, he began very politely, I have always admired how gracefully you fly, and you have the finest feathers of any bird I've ever seen. I have often heard from the other animals that your song is the most beautiful of any bird, although I have never heard it. I wonder if you would sing for me so I might hear how wonderful your voice is. The crow was happy and surprised since crows are not often told they have lovely voices. Opened her mouth to sing, dropping the cheese right into the mouth of that tricky fox, who walked away happy and with a full belly. So, as you can see, the crow ended up losing her cheese while trying to show off to the fox. So I'm sure the crow has now learned her lesson about bragging and being a show-off. Now, shall we follow the dog and his adventures with his bone? This is the story of the dog and his reflection. Once there was a hungry dog who went into town to look for food. The dog snuck in and stole the biggest, juiciest, most delicious-looking bone he had ever seen. He quickly escaped with it, and the butcher chased after him, yelling, "Stop, you dirty dog! Come back here with that bone!" The dog ran to the end of town with his prized bone clutched tightly between his teeth, hoping the butcher was not still following. Soon the dog saw a little bridge over the stream leading to the woods. This will be a perfect place to hide and enjoy my big, juicy, delicious bone in peace, he thought, and he ran to the little bridge. From this bridge, he happened to notice his reflection in the calm, smooth stream. Who's that very handsome dog, he wondered, not realizing it was his own reflection. And what a gigantic, juicy, delicious-looking bone he has. I must have it. The greedy dog eagerly lowered his head to the water, hoping to grab the bone from the other dog, but as soon as he opened his jaws, he dropped his bone into the stream, and he never saw it again. So just like the crow, the dog lost his precious food, and the dog was too greedy and wanted another bone, even though he already had one. So we should take away from the story that we should not be greedy and be satisfied with what we have, because we might end up like the dog with 0 bones instead of 2. Finally, we'll end the stories with the well-known story of the tortoise and the hare. This is the story of the tortoise and the hare. One warm summer day, a tortoise and a hare happened to cross paths in a beautiful meadow. The hare laughed and pointed at the tortoise. "You're the funniest looking animal I've ever seen," the hare said. "Your legs are so tiny," continued the hare. "I can hardly see them hiding under your strange body. And what's that big shell on your back? Do you carry your house wherever you go? How do you ever get anywhere?" "Well," answered the tortoise, "I do get wherever I'm going." The hare laughed again and bragged, "Look at my long legs and strong, skinny body. Why, I'm built perfectly." "Well, floppy ears," answered the tortoise, "I do get wherever I'm going, and I'll bet I can travel all the way across town faster than you." The hare laughed even harder and answered, "I'll race you across town tomorrow at noon, and we'll both invite all our friends to watch me beat you." The next day at noon, all the animals gathered at the starting line. I don't think I can start the race on my own, so can you guys help me start the race? So we'll say, on your mark, get set, go. So, on your mark, get set, go! And they were off. The tortoise went his own speed. And the hare took off as fast and carefree as could be. In no time at all, the hare approached the finish line. "No one's here to see me win," he thought. "I'll have a snack, and I'll wait till that tortoise can see me cross the finish. That would be fun." So the hare munched on some carrots, then some lettuce, and then some clover for dessert. There was still no sign of the tortoise. The hare had run very hard and had eaten quite a big snack, so he stretched out in the warm sun to relax. Soon he fell asleep. Meanwhile, the tortoise was patiently working towards the finish, slowly but surely. Suddenly, the hare woke up from a loud noise. It was all the animals cheering and laughing as the tortoise approached the finish. The hare quickly rose and started running. The tortoise was getting closer, but the hare was catching up with great speed. The tortoise was almost there, and the hare was now just within reach of the tortoise's little tail. And just as the hare was about to pass him, the tortoise crossed the finish line. pro was a bit of a show-off and ended up losing the race. So we must remember to be humble and wise like the tortoise, and always remember that slow and steady wins the race. Thank you for listening to our performance.